Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Aquariuses. This is going to be your October 2025 tarot reading. I forgot what year we are in. Um, this will be for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Definitely for those intuitively guided. Some of you may be in love with an Aquarius. And if that's the case, just know, for anyone who's new, you may not know this, but how I do my readings is I connect to our spirit guides. My guides connect to your guides. And, I feel like your guides know you're going to be here before you even know you're going to be here. So, best thing to do is just have an open mind, an open intuition. We are going to be checking on all areas of your life, your money, love, anything that wants to come out, anything that your guides want you to hear. I am an open vessel for them. So, this is the cards I'm going to use. For your main spread, I'm going to use the Psychic Tarot. I love this deck for you. For the clarifiers, we're going to stick with the Crystal Vision, which I've been using for quite a bit, thanks to Christina, one of our soul sisters. She really called for that deck, and since I brought it back out, it's like can't stop using it now. Um, normally I open your reading with Mother Mary, and I'm still going to use Mother Mary, although the last reading I said that, then I forgot. But I'm going to bring Mother Mary out at the end of the reading. And we are going to open the reading with um, affirmation cards. This is the newest deck to the family. This is by Mindful Souls. Mindful Souls. I did a little promo for them. They sent me a mystery box, and there was a lot of awesome stuff in it. But they also sent me their affirmation deck, so we'll use that also. Then the major arcanas. Um, I just find, and I feel like a lot of you agree with me, they bring so much value to the reading. We don't take a lot of them, but boy, do I feel like they tell many times their own story and then will relate back to your whole reading. So we will also use them. So let's go ahead and let's get started. I'm going to bring the lid down and let's start with the affirmation card. So everything's always pre-shuffled, but I do like to give it a shuffle with you here. Let's give them a cut. By the way, the reason why I cut my decks is it's a sign. Like, for those who have tarot channels, you probably have like your own routine. Um, and that's how it is here. Like I tell my guides when I cut the cards, I am ready. I am ready. All right. So we're going to start with an affirmation. Something just popped into my mind that I feel like there's some who are, I feel like you're going through a rough patch. A rough patch is what I'm being told. Which to me means it's temporary, but you're feeling it right now. So we'll probably find out why. But yeah, that's what I heard and a rough path or a rough path. No, I'm still saying it wrong. Jeez, let's just let it be. Patch. A rough patch. Okay. That didn't take, well, it did kind of take long, but, all right. So we have develop a mindful presence. Develop a mindful presence. I focus on being in the moment, enjoying each part of my day and seeing the good things in life. or that life brings. I find peace by recognizing that being in the present moment brings calm feelings. Interesting how I just said some of you, you're not feeling that way. So, with each card comes what's called today's challenge. Today's challenge: pick something that you do every day and do it mindfully with full attention and care. That's what I will do with your reading. So, we'll put that right there. And let's go ahead and bring in the major arcanas. Give them a cut, shuffle, and a cut. All right. Um, and by the way, many of you know that I also do podcasting, tarot podcasting, well, spiritual podcasting, really. But many of the shows are on tarot. I literally just got done doing a podcast that talks about your major arcana, the star. I haven't released it yet, but I will. The Empress. Beautiful. Maybe. Because all of a sudden I'm feeling there may be some single parents out there who, you know, I just get this sense of like, tired of doing it on my own. Now, that is not everyone's message, but that's someone's message. So let's talk about the Empress. This is someone who is loving, nurturing. She is the nurturer. Um, but the Empress to me is someone who has gone through like the experiences of all the queens, has reflected upon them, and really has learned the lessons. This is some, it doesn't mean there's not more to learn. There's always more to learn, but this is someone who definitely lives like within her spirituality. She trusts her intuition. I feel like that's probably one of the most important things. Like she trusts her intuition. She has this beautiful, oh, I just realized I have the wheel in my hand. She has this beautiful energetic force. And if anything tries to like break through that force that is of a lower vibration, well, the alarm bells will go off. There will be no denying it. It's kind of like the red flags. But that's because the Empress has worked on her vibration, right? I've worked to um, make my life better. I've worked on myself. I want to live a high vibrational life. This is who the Empress is. She's also very creative. This is someone who, like all of us, is receiving signs, epiphanies. And some of these signs can be grand, like starting a new business and then finding it, well, you can see the abundance on her lap. So, whatever the epiphanies may be. Another reason why, I often relate this back to like the Eight of Swords, a self-created prison. Another way that we try to protect ourselves, but that's more the human part of us. The Empress knows that I don't need to build walls. My intuition will let me know. So, a great reader of energy. And you are the Empress here, by the way. Unless for some of you, you may have a mother figure who is one of your guides. That just came to me. Okay. We have the wheel, your destiny. And how beautiful sitting next to the Empress. Like this Empress will spin this wheel, and wherever it lands, like I feel she can create true abundance out of nothing. It's like taking an idea and then creating a business from it, and then finally seeing like the fruits of your labor. She doesn't let fear stop her. Like if she receives this epiphany and it feels right, she's going to move forward. She'll find a way. This person has a blindfold on as they're about ready to spin this wheel. And to me, that represents blind faith, like spinning that wheel and trusting in divine. I also feel it means you're moving into a destined time. This can be, seeds that your soul planted before it even came into this lifetime. And this may be the time for them to manifest. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, the star. How interesting. I say that because number one, it is your major arcana. But number two, I literally just got done doing the podcast on the star. I love that the star is mirroring the Empress. Like literally, what do you want to manifest today? This is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But it is about manifesting. How beautiful that the wheel shows before that. So this is some type of wish that's coming to fruition. And if you feel like you're in the Empress's energy, like just get ready. Get ready because I feel like it's going to be something wonderful. We'll go ahead and leave those. I think 3 is enough. So, destiny with the Empress and the star, your major arcana again. It's about hope. It's about hope. It really is about trusting in universal energy. It's understanding that you have the power to manifest the type of life you want, but maybe starting from the Empress's energy. And what I mean by that is if I'm going through something difficult or I have been through something difficult, there is an opportunity to reflect upon that. And that only brings you growth. It only brings you growth. She's a 3. And to me, that's the energy of joy and self. So some of you're creating something for yourself. This could certainly be some plans, some wishes that were put on a back burner, but now they're coming to the front burner. Like you're about to manifest something. So let's get into the psychic tarot. Makes me even more excited now. And let's see what's going on here. Let's see where the wheel's taking us. Okay, gonna leave you out. Let's see what didn't want to play with the rest. Mental conflict. This is the 2 of Swords. I often feel like this is our thoughts. This is like us telling ourselves that, maybe if there's like an idea you have, listen, you don't need anybody else to believe in it. You just have to believe in it. And for some reason, I feel like, am I trying to talk myself out of something when I feel like you're meant to move forward? This is a bit of a block. It's not the 8 of Swords. So I feel like, we can definitely overcome this. Someone else could certainly be causing this mental conflict, but you have the power over that. You have the power over them. And I guess what I really mean is you have the power over yourself. We can't always control, well, very seldom can we control what other people are doing or thinking, but we can believe in ourselves. And I feel like that's an important component in this reading about believing in yourself, believing in your abilities, believing that you can create anything from nothing. Started on a strong foundation. And to me, that's that is, kind of like a safety net. Safety net. I don't think I've ever said that before. Well, I mean, I've said it, but not in a reading. And I don't censor myself because I know a lot of you ask your guides for me to say certain words or to see certain numbers. So sometimes when I say things that I don't normally say, I know it's someone out there who that may have been what you ask your guides for. All right, let's keep going. Oh, why am I just getting ready to shuffle them or cut them again? All right, let's see what follows. Dang it, there's that Eight of Swords. Mm, I have to tell you, Aquarius, I feel like there is someone who, I just feel like they're not believing within your dreams. Why? It could be jealousy. It could be, I don't want to see you do better than me. I don't know. I am picking that up. This is a self-created prison. You can't be the Empress and be in the Eight of Swords at the same time. Here, it's called trapped in fear. But look at how easily this person could escape. You know, they may think they can't. This sometimes is feeling stuck. Like, how do I find my way out? I feel like I gotta look up. I gotta look up. When you uncreate this, it's freedom. And some of you, maybe that's what you're searching for. And maybe the fear is, well, 8, 9, 10, 8 plus 2, 10, which will come back to a 1 self. Because then we have the Empress again. So, let's move them like this way. Boy, do I feel like there are mother figures who are trying to get you to believe in yourself. This Two of Swords and Eight of Swords, this is earthly energy. And it doesn't feel like you, other than if you're fearful that maybe something won't work. Or for some of you, it may be like you may be thinking about like ending a relationship or a connection. But is it serving you with all these swords? I don't know. I don't know. Look at the Empress here. Her heart chakra is being activated. And it's coming under the wheel. 8 and 3, 11. Funny, because when I get an 11, a lot of times I think a twin flame. And that could be the case for some. What I want to say is, well, let's use the Empress's energy for an example. If there's someone who doesn't believe in my dreams, has no problem, like, I feel like putting me down. They're not lifting me up. I feel like you want to free yourself. But listen, I know that it's not easy. I know that. Sometimes change can be the hardest thing. But then we make that change and we're like, oh, what the hell was I thinking? What took me so long? I also feel for those who are in a twin flame relationship, or any type of relationship, if they're not building you up, if they don't feel like they're on your side, don't think that, soulmate twin flame, that I must stay. Well, you know, if you're my twin flame, then I have to accept this. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because this is about both of, I want to say lovers, both raising their vibration. You did it. So I feel like if anybody wants to be with you, then they need to raise their own vibration. But in a way, I feel like this is more about what you want to create. And I don't care who doesn't believe in you. I believe in you. Your guides believe in you. This mother figure believes in you. And you are, again, moving into a destined time. That rough patch, here it is with the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords. You know, sometimes this is our own thought system, like where we have bought other people's thoughts, you know, like we're not good enough. But that's false. That's just false. And a lot of times that's coming from lower vibrational energy. You know, 8 is also about a new beginning. It's also the number of infinity. So I get this sense that this is not the first time that you may have been through this type of situation. And I'm talking about with the swords. I feel like you've overcome before, you will overcome again. It's just trusting within yourself. It seems to be the theme right now. Like when you believe in yourself, well, the universe seems to be your oyster. Some of you may have been like self isolating. And I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that. But if you're not happy, whoa, it's funny. If you're not happy, transformation is probably what you need. And then we had a card go off the table. Let's go get it. Oh my gosh, look at this. The tower. Interesting. Oh, all of a sudden, I got a cramp in my foot. The tower mirroring the Two of Swords. The Death card. First of all, this is the card of Scorpio. But this talks about endings, you know, and endings are a part of life. You know, life ends eventually. If we keep that in mind, then, you know, like we only have a limited amount of time in this lifetime to create, to have adventures. If we keep that in mind, remembering that we're spiritual beings, even that we've been here before, then these swords, though they can still show, I feel like we work through them pretty quickly. So a door is ready to close. You may not have asked for it. You may think it's working against you, but it's actually working in your favor. The Death card is about a rebirth. And this tower, boy, do I feel like you're giving this tower to someone. I feel like you're saying enough is enough. Like you're realizing maybe, you know, first of all, it can be self, like my own thoughts. But I also feel for some, you're realizing that, well, that you deserve better, right? You deserve respect. And as the Empress, she would accept nothing less. She also gives it, though. So, some of you have been thinking long and hard about this. Should I or shouldn't I? What will happen next if I do? Well, remember, you're creating it as you go, but you have a lot of beautiful energy that's supporting you. Even if it's not here on earth, it's spiritual. So there's nothing to fear when you have spiritual energy supporting your dreams. And I do feel like for some of you, this wheel is speaking about predestined souls, you like intentions of your soul, like what I wanted to accomplish in this lifetime. And part of that is learning and growing, evolving, becoming the Empress. 33. I keep seeing 33 in our readings also. And 33 is a number of purity, pure love, pure energy, pure tone. Something feels like its time has come to an end. But I feel like you know that. I feel like you fought the good fight. And you may think that something's not working in your favor. But here's the thing, I feel like when that door closes, you're going to see how it really was working. It is working in your favor. Something may have been built on a really shaky foundation. And therefore, the lightest of winds can come in and knock it over. All right, let's keep going. So this top line, a little difficult, but nothing we can't handle. We have, well, I am not surprised, justice. By the way, another 11. So now we have 1111. Make a wish. You ever see 1111 on the clock? I know every time I see it, I make a wish. Sometimes I give my wish to my daughter, like my wish is for my daughter. But justice, number one card of Libra. But it does talk about cutting ties. But justice is about making you whole again. Justice is concerned what's fair and just in your world. But I have a feeling the sword of justice is what sets me free. Again, kind of relating back to that tower. Someone may have closed the door on you, but then I feel like you're turning around and closing the door on them. I hope that makes sense. Like someone who kind of keeps you on the hook and keeps you in a state of uncertainty. But no more. No more. That, of course, is up to you because in the Eight of Swords, you are the only one who can free yourself. I remember my younger years, I was always waiting for that hero to come in and save me. And I finally realized that I am my own hero. I can save my own life. And that's exactly what I did. Now, it took time. Don't get me wrong. So, justice wants you whole again. This mother figure wants you whole again. Beautiful. The Nine of Swords in reverse. So in the upright, this is definitely worry. But the meaning of this card is unnecessary worry. And it has to do with you freeing yourself. It's in reverse. So some of you, it is your thoughts. Now, it could be due to other people putting those thoughts in your head. But using this sword literally seems to set you free and gets rid of the worry. You know how I said I felt like some of you were self-isolating? Well, that's what it says. Whoops, sorry. Suffering in silence. But not anymore. Some of you are speaking your mind. speaking your mind, closing doors, saying enough is enough. And this can relate to anything in your life. You know, let's just go back to the major arcanas, the Empress versing mirroring your major arcana, the star, with destiny in between. Look at this, another 9. And we're in a universal year 9. We're in the year of the Hermit. You know, there could be things, feelings. I know a lot of people are going through this where there's feelings of the past coming to the surface. And they're not coming to the surface for you to judge yourself. It's to learn from it. You know, this is about the spiritual strength that you've gained because of your experiences, because of what you've overcome. It's also representing your spiritual team right there beside you, every step of the way. Some of you, again, this mother figure, right there, every step of the way. You may not have felt it for those who are in that self-created prison. But once you free yourself, you'll pick up on these signs. You'll know, you'll feel the feelings. You know, some of you are going to get some signs from this mother figure in this reading. So just be open to that. Movement, choices, and decisions under the death card. Transformation. This is a lot of where this worry was. Making this change. Making a choice. But it is mirroring the star. So I feel like this is just the beginning of the new you in a way. I don't know if I could have asked for anything better to come under the death card for you. Because I do feel like this movement, it almost feels like a necessity. The waiting game. We have 3 2s in this reading. The waiting game. Well, under the tower. Again, if someone has had you on the hook, you know, I love you, but then they don't call you for a month. Someone, you know, could be like narcissistic type of energy. Like, I don't show you what you deserve, but I'll be damned if I want someone else to do it. You know, this tells you that you're waiting for something that won't serve you, isn't serving you. And just look at the hourglass. This person is going around and around and around and around, but the tower is above it. That's why I feel you're giving the tower. Quietly or loudly. And I'm saying loudly because I do feel like for some of you, you are finally speaking your piece. You're saying no more. You're freeing yourself. You're realizing more and more who you are, like on a spiritual level. Understanding that your guides are with you every step of the way. You know, that alone should help take some of the fear. Here's my birthday. I swear my birthday always shows up in your reading. You know, these twos can relate to love. But this is not the type of love that I would want for you. You know, let's say as a mother, I would not want this for you. I don't want you waiting around, wondering, does someone care for me? Do they not care for me? You know, whatever it may be. And I don't feel like you want that anymore either, because this is mirroring justice. So, and the tower, not mirroring the tower, but under the tower. So it's on the bottom of the deck. Hello, recognition and reward. This person's in a very humbled state. Other people recognizing you where someone else may have been refusing to do that. Don't think that somebody else won't recognize you. Literally, this person is humbled by the experience itself. See what's under it. Memories of love. Some of you, this could be, this could be a past life person or present life person or both. This would be someone that you have happy memories of, treasured memories, really. And they're going to give you the recognition you deserve. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go over this. Let's go deeper. Deeper if we dare. So the numbers I'm really noticing are the 11s, first and foremost, and the 3s, the master number 33, and the 2s. You have 3 2s. And that's why I think for some of you, it may be relating to, I want to say love, but I still don't feel like, yeah, let's put it this way. If it's love, it's lower vibrational love. It's someone who puts themselves first. And, when I say that, yes, you should put yourself first. But when it comes to love, I don't know. I kind of feel like if someone truly loves me, or if I truly love someone, chances are I'm at least gonna think about them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna think about um I don't know what I was gonna say, but just that, I'm willing to give them really all of myself. And I feel like that's what this is saying here. Someone who's also willing to give all of themselves. I have to point back to that will again. Some of you who are single parents, you may not be single for long. Of course, if you remain in the Eight of Swords, that's different. In a way, that's telling the universe that you don't want love. And I get it. I get it. If you're dealing, especially if you're dealing with a narcissist, narcissistic tendencies, you can't change that. And we're not here to change people, to fix people. Well, let me put that differently. Like, we can certainly use our energy to help heal others, but I don't feel like that energy is open to that. So there's nothing we can do about that, right? Like waiting, I feel like you've done that. And I feel like what it's doing is putting you in this state that just doesn't feel natural for you. All right. So let's start at the beginning, but read it as a whole. The Hermit. We're in the year of the Hermit. Let me just tell you a quick little story. Many of you heard me talk about my boyfriend before. We lived together. Um, and I'm not even going to go to the whole story, but the other day when I was done working, it came out, and my guy is a man's man. And to see him cry is like hardly ever. But there he was, crying. And I'm like, what's wrong, babe? And he started telling me like stories of things that happened years and years ago. But guess what? They were all coming to the surface. And I knew why. He needed to forgive, not pick up the phone and call them. Just forgive with his own heart. So, I feel like in the Hermit's year, many things are going to come to the surface. Many things that we're going to need to reflect upon. But keep in mind, after this year, we're entering in a brand new 9-year cycle. How do I want my next 9 years to look? Do I want it to look like this 9 years? And if I don't, then what do I need to do? Number one, it is within your thoughts. But I do get this sense like, the hermit is a wise old soul. Like, I've been here before. I've been through this before. The hermit is often seeking the light after something hard, sometimes getting knocked down to our knees. It's interesting. I was saying earlier about how, in my younger years, like I was looking for that savior. And then I realized I am my own savior. That's exactly what you figure out in the hermit. I am the light. This is major growth. This is about your spirituality. And this is about healing oneself, doctor, heal thyself, but also becoming a natural healer. I say this a lot, but I feel it's true. Like, if I have an issue, who would I rather go to for advice? Someone who's been there, done that, and overcome, or someone who's still in it? I want someone who knows, understands what I'm going through. But this is you for many of you. Also, card of Virgo, though. And I want to say, what I've been noticing lately, and I don't know why I haven't noticed this before, but the hermit is sitting on a cliff, and it reminds me of the fool. But look what he's doing. He's shining his beacon of light outwardly, almost like out into the world. Like some of you may be taking the world stage in some way, and that can mean online. I know I have people from all over the world here. That 9 of Swords over the 8 of Swords. Man, oh man. So that's telling you that the worry that you have in the 8 of Swords, listen, it is real worry. I get that. But what it's saying is it doesn't benefit you. It is your choice because it is a free will action. And our guides, they have to let us live our free will. But they certainly will try to help move us, right? But again, they can't cross our free will. So this is another message just telling you that this worry of maybe feeling stuck is an illusion. And I mean an illusion we may tell ourselves. And then look at this, another 3, right over the Empress, the 3 of Swords. I feel for some of you, this is talking about loss, like where I'm feeling like this mother figure. And I know right away that they're saying, don't cry for me. Don't cry for me. Live your life. Experience all there is to experience. This is usually past energy, but it seems to still be playing an effect within today's energy. But the Death card and the Tower and even the Sword can end that. When we're in the Three of Swords, we sometimes think, well, that's it, right? But maybe you are here to master that. Maybe you really are. And then allow yourself to spin that wheel in blind faith. But at the same time, knowing that your guides, they have your back. They're going to help you. Like especially when you break yourself free, I feel like the signs then become so clear. I definitely feel also that a loved one who has left this world, oh my gosh, I feel like they want you to live. They want you to live, to experience, even love. And I know I get a lot of comments, people say, I don't want love. I'm never going to love again. Well, usually, and I've said that before, but it's usually until we meet someone new and then we fall in love. But in the Empress's energy, like, you really don't have to fear. Because think of the law of attraction, right? In the Empress's energy, I'm of a higher vibrational energy, right? I've mastered a lot of like these life lessons, these limited thoughts, and I've rose above. And I definitely feel you're being not just recognized for that, but rewarded for that. Well, there's your star. All right. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Can be Virgo. We have Hermit, which is Virgo. Capricorn, or why can't I think of Earth right now? Taurus. Jeez. Um, but this is who I call my psychic detective. If there's something going on and you were uncertain, something that was against you, this is someone who will find that, figure it out. Like this person can read energy. And I have to tell you, I feel this is more you. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. Well, there's that strong foundation. That's what the Four of Pentacles speaks of your foundation in anything you're building. Anything new. I want to start it with a strong foundation. Now, the Four of Pentacles can also be resistant type energy. But because it's coming over the tower, I don't know, some of you, though I don't really have cards of like movement, like movement out of situations, yes, but like physical movement. But it could happen. Like some of you may be changing homes. And I'm not just going to say that this is just talking about love. This could be talking about a job where, you're just not being seen. Your work's not being illuminated. You're not being valued. They just don't understand the value that they bring, or maybe they just don't want to pay. The Five of Cups, interesting, because we have the Six of Cups that we saw. So the Five of Cups change. Five of Cups ask you to ask yourself, what are you focusing on? In the Five of Cups, we are focusing on the cups that have been knocked over, cups that we have lost, cups that didn't turn out the way that we had hoped. But the truth of the Five of Cups is when I'm no longer focusing on that, there are two cups behind this person. To me, that's your soulmate. Now, soulmates come in all different forms. But because we saw the Six of Cups, I get the sense that there's like this true love who is here, but we can't see him yet. I feel like for some of you, you're tired of being in this sad state. You're tired of being in this mental prison, so to speak. And this really does give you the power to change it. It's just looking towards the future, starting at the present, using that sword, saving your own life. And that sounds kind of like dramatic. But what I mean is the change that you seek, it's here. It's available. But it's going to take your human action. But once you make that action, I get this sense that everything changes. Interesting. We have the King of Pentacles now. So we have the Queen and the King. This King is coming over the Nine of Swords in reverse. So, although it can be an earth sign, really what I want to talk about is this King's energy. Funny, I think I said the same thing with the Queen. This is someone, when they look at life, they look at the big picture. They look at a situation, it's the big picture. The King of Pentacles to me in the upright is someone who is loyal. Maybe you didn't have that before. This is someone who is steady. Probably has a good job. Like I don't feel they're a bum at all. I don't know if you've met this person yet, unless it's someone from the past. But I still don't know if well, I do know. I don't think it's come together. All right, because right behind him are those two cups. So this could potentially be your soulmate. Judgment, your spiritual team. That's kind of beautiful because it's coming over spiritual strength. It's connected to the Empress, where some of you, I definitely feel it's a mother figure. Just one of your guides. We have a whole team. We have a whole team that was assigned to us before we even came into this lifetime. I get this feeling that one of your spiritual team is saying, this is a predestined time. And I'm here just to wake you up. I'm here to bring you into the present moment so that you will spin that wheel. Judgment has a couple different messages. And probably the most important one is to be in the present moment. And mainly because this is where your signs are sent. Eight of Swords, I'm still kind of lost in the past. But because we have the Tower, Justice, the Death card, I feel like eventually, if some haven't already, you are using that sword, and that is the beginning of something new. Like Judgment wants you to be the fool, right? Willingness to take a leap of faith without having to know exactly what the outcome will be, because it is about the adventure. I love the Judgment just came over spiritual strength and the recognition of, for some of you, a broken heart. Letting you know that that heart can heal. Not only can it heal, but it's going to be stronger than ever. Here's what I feel. I don't know what's making me say this right now, but I feel like if love or life was always perfect, first of all, what would we learn? And our soul is here to learn, not just to learn, but to grow, to evolve, to experience. So, again, I forgot what I was going to say with that. Maybe that's all I needed to say. Hmm. I'm noticing the two X's on judgment, which stands for 20. But it's interesting because I'm thinking like three strikes and someone's out with a three right above it. All right. But listen, your spiritual team, they want you to spin that wheel. They want these dreams to become your reality. There's a lot of free will in this reading. The tower. It's like they're backing up that energy of the tower. You know what I feel like they're saying though? Is, sometimes these towers can take us down, but it's really about building us back up. Sometimes people fall from grace, but it's up to them to figure it out. I feel like your spiritual team is behind you if you're giving someone a tower. And listen, it doesn't even have to mean you're picking up the phone and saying, "This is it, I'm done." You just may just be done. And it's coming over movement, choices, and decisions. And then look at this, the Nine of Pentacles. Wow. What's interesting is with the clarifiers, we started with a card of Virgo, we end with a card of Virgo. I'm not done yet, but so the Nine of Pentacles talks about successful self employment. This is also an energy of independence and how you became this way. And I mean this in the best of ways. This isn't shutting out the world because I just want to be this independent soul. This is feeling independent within any situation. But it really looks like, for some of you, a dream may have been to create something. And maybe it is something spiritual. And to create that, you probably did have to learn these lessons. My life has been very difficult. And yes, I've had blessings at the same time. I recognize them all. But the difficulty, most of it, I truly understand now. Like the things that I took when I was younger, I would never accept now because I've learned from that. And it's not that I'm shutting the world out, it's just that I've learned. Nine of Pentacles. What do you want to build? And even the Four of Pentacles right above that, starting it on a strong foundation. Like, if there's anyone telling you that you can't be what you want to be, I hope you set them straight. Or just show them. You don't even have to show them. I feel like time will show them. Like, holy shit, she really did it. Holy shit, he really made it. And that won't make them feel so great. But it's not about that, right? Because in the Empress, it's not about us like wanting to put someone else down, so to speak. But we're pretty clear on what we will accept and what we won't accept anymore. This is you being able to take care of yourself. And I love it. If your dream was to build a business, like, I hope you do. I hope you do, but start with a strong foundation. And in the Nine of Pentacles, it's really about seeing the fruits of your labor. I even love it mirroring the Five of Cups. Maybe without this change, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe without this change, those two cups wouldn't have come in. Why? Because in the Eight of Swords, chances are I'm just going to let it go by me anyway. Well, once I've broken myself free and I'm in the Empress's energy, which means I'm living in the present moment energy, I'm picking up the signs that my spirit guides are putting down. I'm trusting within myself and my abilities. Even the reflection. Now I'm starting to understand why things felt so limited. Maybe I was taking someone's bullshit, but I feel like not anymore. These nines are final reflection. Final. All right, something's telling me to go below, so we're going to do that too. I'm going to slide these up a little bit. So let's go right below too. We have the Seven of Pentacles, though it did show in reverse. So let's talk about what the Seven of Pentacles means. To me, the Seven of Pentacles is your tree of life. Just like how I was speaking earlier, where certain seeds may have been planted before you even came into this lifetime. But your guides know that this is its time. Seven of Pentacles is patience. But that's so the seeds can come to fruition, so the seeds can blossom. Someone's not trusting in that. Someone's not trusting in that. It doesn't mean it won't happen. Because if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. What you do with it, that's where the difference lies. The unknown card. So this is like the High Priestess. This is the High Priestess. But you can see here where her crystal ball is clouded. Interesting how she's putting it before us. She looks sad. I don't know what to do. I feel like judgment would say, just take a leap of faith. This isn't about where the ultimate destination lands. Because again, you're creating it as you go. And we are seeing like real success. I feel like we're seeing your soulmate also. But step by step. I feel like sometimes that's the problem. Like we want to know, it's like starting a new business, you don't know if it's going to be successful until you are stepping into it. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles and the Unknown card. And the Eight of Swords right there. I don't know how. Like, I definitely feel like someone's not paying attention to their intuition, or your guides are sending you signs, but you're just uncertain. Well, your guides would say, I'll send you the sign as many times as you need. I'll make them bigger so you can't deny them if that's what you want. You can say that to your guides. Like, I'm not sure if that was the sign. Can you send it again? Absolutely. But I'll make it even bigger. And maybe you still don't trust it. Huh? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to send it again. But this time I'm going to send it with a bang. We have the devil. Interesting because I also did the meaning of the devil's podcast. And this can certainly talk about temptations. The devil is great at casting illusions, making us feel stuck. Oftentimes you'll see the lovers with chains around their neck. But the meaning is that you can take that chain off, right? They're loosely bound, like the Eight of Swords. I may think that I'm in this prison, but the walls of the prison I could get right through if I truly wanted to. Is a card of Capricorn also, though. And that could be for some because we do have the King of Pentacles. Um, but I feel like what this is saying is for some of you, it's almost like this illusion had been casted over you. And maybe it was part of your life lesson to realize that this is an illusion that I'm stuck. Hello, Ten of Cups. How about that? How about love? How about harmony, joy, laughter? Completely different type of house. And look what reversed itself. Amen. The Ten of Swords. So, and look at the image. All those swords that are in your back, now that it's reversed, those swords are falling out. That means they're not going to have an effect on your future or your present. In the upright, it's like dagger after dagger after dagger in my back. Sometimes I feel like this is a repeat pattern, especially with the Three of Swords. I may have given someone 3 chances, but 3 chances, you blew. You're now out. This is you not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. This is you not carrying other people's weight who tend to put you down. If they're not for you, they're against you. And if they're against you, goodbye. I feel like you're growing right here, right now. I just realized we have 2 10s in a row. 2 completely different 10s. Love, harmony, laughter, joy. It doesn't mean that everything is perfect, but this is about 2 people who come together and create quite a wonderful life for themselves. Some of you, it can be blended families because I definitely feel the energy for some of being like single with children, like being a single mother or a single father. And that may be a worry. Like, is somebody going to accept me with children? Yes. My ex-husband told me that. No one, you're not going to find love. You have 2 children. No one's going to want to just take on 2 children. Well, boy, was he wrong. Boy, was he wrong. Okay. I mean, this is kind of perfect that this be the last card. And I hope this reading is what's helping you come to that realization. Like literally saying, no more daggers in my back. I'm done with that. No more limited thoughts. I'm done with that. I'm going to trust in myself. I'm going to build a life of independence for myself. I also feel like you're going to find true love for yourself and another. But I don't want to put any limits because I feel like this is creating whatever you want. But knowing, creating it from the Empress's energy. So, number one, present moment, epiphanies, special ideas that are going to come to you that may be out of the blue, but then you decide to take that leap of faith. And next thing you know, you have a business on your hands. And I feel like this tower is the end to one thing, but the Ten of Cups, even though I do say, remember that you're creating it as you go. I feel like what it's saying is when these swords drop out of your back, then the ability for the Ten of Cups to open up is so much stronger. It just is. Okay. I want to bring in the clarifying love situations. I have them already, but I'm going to give them a shuffle. And what I love about this deck is it doesn't just talk about love. All right. Your spiritual team is right in the middle of your reading. And they're standing between the dark and the heartache. And they're urging you to spin that wheel. Take a chance. Take a chance on yourself. And I feel like the rest will follow. All right. Inner compass. Trust your instincts to lead you in the right direction. I don't know if there could have been a better card than this right now. Trust your instincts to lead you in a better direction. And then we have strong roots. Pull weeds of resentment so your love life can blossom. Well, those old weeds, that's the Three of Swords, that's the Ten of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Eight of Swords. They're all weeds. Pull them and let everything blossom for you. Okay. Last but not least, I am going to bring in the romance angels. I feel like you're reading. I definitely feel like it's talking about love. I feel like it's talking about a soulmate that maybe hasn't entered yet. But listen, the energy is already in the air. But I don't want to shadow what it is that you can do and you can create. Because it's not all about love. It's about you feeling good within yourself, first and foremost. And I just feel like the rest will follow. All right. I don't know if I shuffled them, so I'm going to do it now. Let's give them a cut. I just saw worth waiting for on the bottom of the deck. We'll see if it makes its way back out. But I feel like I was meant to see that. So something is worth waiting for. And because we're in the romance angels, oh, wedding. Wow. This situation involves marriage. Some of you, yes, this could be an old marriage. But even if that's the case, because justice can definitely represent the law, like going through a divorce or what have you. But it simply means cutting of ties, right? So that you are whole again. So even if it was a past wedding, I feel like this is talking about your future. This is talking about the Ten of Cups. Free yourself and the rest will follow. It's time to take back control of your life, Aquarius. It's time to take back control of your life. Free yourself. From what? This self-created prison. From people who make you wait for no reason other than their own selfish reasons. Jobs where you're not being appreciated. Whatever you need, right? However you need to take back control of your life. And I also want to remind you, like, your spirit guides are so strong in this reading. So you don't walk alone. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. That could be the case. However, I feel like this is talking about a future relationship. And I feel like what it's saying is love does take work. Both of us had to be willing to give, to think of the other. But you're freeing yourself first. That's why I feel like this is yet to come. And then last but not least is trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. That little angel there, Cupid, like bringing these two people together. Just noticing how close they are. They're not kissing. Just like how she's leaning into it. Look how she's in white. That means she has the ability to be truly who she is. No mask. This is who I am. Well, that's what I love about you. Or someone else may have been like, well, that's what I didn't love. Well, then I wasn't your girl. Or I wasn't your guy. Because I need to be me. Trust. All right, let's give it one more spin, see if anything else wants to come out. And one more. Romantic feelings. Interesting. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. That's why she's leaning in. She's feeling it. She's feeling the energy. The Empress or the Emperor in love, it's a beautiful thing. Because I'm truly being who I am and truly being accepted for who I am. I don't feel like the Empress needs love. I'm not desperate for love. But I also welcome it, especially a soulmate love. And we know, because there's 2 cups behind this 5. First of all, I feel like what it's saying is some of you may have given someone the title of a soulmate or a twin flame, but that's not really who they were unless it was a karmic soulmate. Because remember, we do have karmic soulmates, and we're also others' karmic soulmate. And that means that we're here to help them learn. And sometimes it's through the most difficult of experiences. But the Empress would represent that there's nothing you can't get through at the same time. So, I don't know. Something is telling me one more. I don't know why, but I'm going to listen. Oh, there is worth waiting for. How interesting. Look at this engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. When your energy ascends, so does everything that comes back. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment, true commitment. And then last but not least, what I saw when I first brought out the deck, worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, I heard my guide say one more time, and me, I'm thinking, we already have 5, but I'm going to listen. Worth waiting for wanted to come out. And just to let you know that as you ascend, so does everything else in your life. And the things or people that don't, naturally, the universe wants them to fade away. The devil is the perfect energy of our humanness trying to pull it back in. I feel like when you reach the Empress's energy, you never lower your vibration again to be with another. It's like a must that if you're going to give your heart, that they be of the same vibration. And that is what the soulmate energy I was feeling. I mean, engagement, wedding, romantic feelings, trust, and divine timing is at work in your love life. It is worth waiting for. But do I feel like you have to wait long? I've got to go back to that Eight of Swords. Because I feel like when you free yourself, literally, everything that was meant to be, and we have that, right? Free yourself. I just realized that. That wheel starts spinning. These dreams start to manifest. And your life changes. And where do you end up? Let's just say the potential of the Ten of Cups. But not just the Ten of Cups. Also, this is success within your money. Can we have it all? Looks like we can. Doesn't mean life is perfect. Doesn't mean issues don't arise. But now we've learned how to handle them. Now we're not so fearful. Like, I feel like your guides are covering everything here. And in the Eight of Swords, maybe you weren't feeling so independent. But then when you free yourself, I'm telling you, I hope you believe me. When you free yourself, everything changes for the better. Look at your past as lessons for the soul and allow yourself to understand that so that your thoughts don't come in between you and the dreams that you want to manifest. You have a right to live the life that you choose. But you have to know that. You have a right not to accept lower vibrational energy. But you have to know that. And once you do know that, well, goodbye to anything and anyone who chooses the opposite. Aquarius has staked their claim. They have put their flag in the ground. And I'm going to leave it there. Amen, amen, amen. I love you guys. This is one of those readings where I did love it. I really do. But I see also the difficulty. This is real life. But so are the blessings. Remember that. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to let that be. I hope I didn't sound like I was preaching. All of a sudden, I'm like, did I sound preachy? I hope not. It all comes from love and compassion, truly. Um, yeah, so I'm going to let that be. I will release the podcast that talks about your major arcana, the star. I do find it interesting, because I really didn't know what sign I was going to do. Because something said Aquarius. So it's interesting that it's following the podcast of your major arcana. This was meant to be. This, I feel like, is divine timing. So happy October and get ready for 2026, where we enter the year of the magician, the manifester. Nothing has to get in your way. Pull those weeds and let the blossoms blossom. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.